Yo, man, what's good with y'all, man? This is Simply Day Day, and I'm back with another video. First and foremost, I hope I was well with y'all. I was well with me. Sorry, y'all, I got a text. All was well with me for the most part. Here lately, though, I feel like I have been kind of going through like some spiritual warfare as of late. Um, and which brings me to what I want to talk about, though, because of this verse of the Bible, and it's one of the most popular verses, I think, that's even in the Bible anyway. And hold on, give me a second, y'all. Gotta roll down my windows real quick. It's a little warm today. All right, y'all. Sorry about that, but yeah. This is one of the most popular verses in the Bible, and you know it clearly states that no weapon formed against you shall be able to prosper. That's one of the most, again, one of the most, I think, overall well said verses ever. And that verse to me, like, especially like if you're going through spiritual warfare. Sorry, God, if I sound a little funny, y'all already got my retainer. Yes, I do wear a retainer. I didn't got it. I got it switched out. So if I kind of sound a little like my speech, if what I'm saying, it kind of sounds like a little slurred, it's not. It's not that I'm on. It's not that I'm on anything or anything. It's just my retainer. But anyways, going back to what I was saying. If you're going through spiritual warfare, I believe like this verse is one of the most powerful verses you can meditate on, that you can just allow it just to really just come into your spirit. Because in our rough times, in our struggles and stuff like that, that verse clearly said, that even in our struggles and our battles, God will not let any type of weapon, form against us. We may, and I'm not gonna say, because when we're on the spiritual warfare, it can get hard, it can get difficult, at times, to where you may feel like giving up. You may feel like I said, just throwing in the towel, and just and just really just tired, And since I'm talking about weapons, the enemy's weapons. So let's talk about the enemy's weapons real quick. So the enemy, he'll use depression. He'll use anxiety. He'll use suicidal thoughts. He'll use addiction. That probably one being one of the most biggest ones. And another huge one, he'll use homosexuality. Whether we believe it or not, bro, that's one of the biggest weapons, a lot of these weapons that I just named, but that's one of those two in particular, addiction and homosexuality. I think those probably being one of the most bigger, and suicidal thoughts. I think those being some of the most biggest ones nowadays, you know, especially just it don't matter what age you are. Like I said, we all go through stuff. We're destined to go through things, so that's the thing. We're going to go through troubles. That's just how it is, trials and tribulations. But it is, these weapons, even though, like I said, we fought, sometimes we do, sometimes we do get weak in them, you feel me? Like, it's hard. Spiritual warfare is not something, that's easy. Like, it can cause, just heaviness. It can cause just lots of stuff, you feel me? But at the end of the day, this particular verse, no weapon formed against you shall be able to prosper. If you really allow that to really just stick into your soul, and just really stick to that and believe that, like, it don't matter what type of enemy, it don't matter what type of enemy the It don't matter what type of weapon the enemy uses. Like these weapons that I just named, these are his weapons, bro. It don't matter what type of weapons that he used. They may seem like they may work for a while, but they won't last forever, bro. They can't. They can't prosper. It just won't work, bro. Why? Because God is on your side. God is on my side. You know, and sometimes, like I said, when you're going through something, when you're going through spiritual warfare, sometimes it's just so hard, you know, to realize, you know, but if God said it, then, you know, because God is not a man that he shall lie, you know, if God said it shall not prosper, then it won't. You know, he is the enemies and weapons that come against us, you know, that the enemy uses against us. He is an enemy to our enemies. You know, he's a fighter for us. You feel me? So I just want to encourage somebody today, like, don't throw in the towel. Don't give up. You know, none of these weapons is going to be able to prosper against you. I don't care what it may be. I don't care what it may look like. You know, sometimes I even got to tell myself, man, like, you know, when I'm going through something or if I'm going through a struggle, a lot of the times, another big enemy that he likes to use, use against us is our past. You know, when we, you know, a lot of the times, or if anybody's watching this, you know, I'm sure a lot of us has had, before we were saved, a lot of us have had just things that we have done in our past, when we was lost, when we was, you know, when we just wasn't just seeing clearly, you know, when we was stuck in our sin, when we was addicted to whatever the case may have been, or stealing, or just anything of that nature, you know. The enemy, he'll then try to, you know, he'll try to use that as a weapon too, you know, to say, well, you know, this is the stuff that you did, this and this and this and that. But in reality, like, yes, this was stuff that I did do, but it doesn't define who I truly am, though. Like the stuff that you did, it doesn't define who you truly are. You know, although yes, that was a period in time in which you did do these things, it still didn't define who you truly are. Who you truly are is, now that you're saved, this is who you're destined to be. I always believe that, you know, this is who you're destined to be. You know, you're destined to be saved. You're destined to be, now that you are saved, you're destined to be on the side of the righteous. You know, the Bible says, you know, that neither move to the left or right, but remove thy foot from evil. You feel me? Like, the path that you're on now that you are saved, this is who you truly are. This is who God truly wants you to be. He wants you to be saved. He wants to continue to mold you. He wants to continue to do all these things for you. You feel me? Another thing, you know, like the enemy, going back to these weapons, like the enemy, he's used the same weapons, you know, from way, way, way before. You feel me? Like way, way before. It's been the same thing. It's literally been the same cycle of weapons: depression, anxiety. Because if they wasn't, then why you know, why does it mention these things in the Bible then, if they weren't things that he's already used before? You feel me? Lust, you know, this like a lot of stuff, bro. Like, just a lot of things. The Bible mentions, it mentions lust, it mentions desire, it mentions temptations, it mentions anxiety, depression, it mentions all these type of things. You feel me? It literally has its weapons, you know, his own weapons in the Bible. It's almost like a play, right? Like, let's say like a basketball game. Like, you feel me? Like, let's say a team is going against a team. A basketball team is not going to use the same play 1 and 2 and 3, or 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 times. Why? Because eventually the team is going to they're going to catch on, bro. You feel me? They're going to catch on to that play and realize that, okay, I've already seen this before. I'm not finna let, you know, I'm not finna let, basically, I'm not finna let this play get over me again. That's the same with the enemy. And this, and what I, and by me saying that, this makes it, it makes it even more of a reason why, you feel me, no weapon formed against you shall be able to prosper. The enemy uses the same plays over and over again. If you really think about that, like, it's literally like, I mean, it's just like once he uses them over and over and over again, and you start to, you start to learn from it. It's like that's what I'm saying. Like, the weapons that he uses eventually, this, okay, let's just go back to the past. When we was in our past, things that we did, the things seemed new to us, bro. So picture that now as learning, as again, going back to that basketball, example that I used. When a basketball team is going against another team and they use a brand new play, it's going to work the first time because the other team they don't know the play. You feel me? So it's gonna catch them off guard. That's the same like in our past. Like, what we did, we don't really realize a lot of times we don't really realize the things that the things that we actually do until we actually are in it, until we actually saved. We realize, like, wow. Just looking back, like, wow. That's the reason why the song goes, I once was blind, but now I can see. It's like once you see that, bro, you're changed. You feel me? And that's and now going back again, to the enemy's weapons, is just like although we may have been caught off guard, by our sinful natures, now that we actually can see, his weapons can no longer, even if, like I said, even if we do struggle, they can't prosper. It just won't work. It will not work. So again, I just encourage somebody today, like, realize that you are not, like I said, realize that you are not your struggles. Realize that you are not, realize that, you are not blind anymore. But like, when you just think about, like, the decision that you made when your past, just admit, like, we were blinded, bro. Like, I mean, that's just what that was. We wasn't living for God, because if we was living for God, we never even would have made that mistake. But now we can see, the Bible says, those that are wise in heart can see God. Now that we have that wisdom, and now we can actually see God through certain situations, you feel me? Like, we can see the enemy's weapons when they try to rise up against us. That's the reason why. So I'm saying, once you actually see that stuff, no weapon formed, like I say, nothing, it just won't work, bro. It won't. You feel me? So I just want to encourage somebody, like I said, if you're going through something right now, if you're having struggles, if you're battling, if you got a spirit of the of the enemy, like, that's battling just within you, from your past mistakes, from your past, or just battling, if you're struggling with addiction, if you're struggling with, like, temptation and stuff like this, like, just know that, this too shall pass, bro. Like, this is not, I think that's another, weapon that the enemy loves to use. He loves to use temptation, you feel me, against you. It won't work. You've already seen his play. Bro. It won't work. It can't prosper. And if you are somebody that is being tempted and want you know, and it just feels like you just, you know, and it just feels like, you know, you're just caving into it, bro. Like you're just caving into whatever struggle. Like you feel like you just can't cope with it no more. The enemy, another weapon that the enemy loves to use, he loves to use manipulation. That's one of his biggest things, bro. Probably the biggest manipulator, and I've said that before. Probably the biggest manipulator in this world. Don't allow the lies of the enemy, because just think like this too. Like everything that's in the Bible, you know, that is used for clarity or peace or that gives us strength, the enemy then turns that into a lie. You feel me? So that's another thing into which, you know, the enemy loves, he loves to do. Just like he knows, you know, like I said, these weapons that he tries to use, they can't, as long as we're not blinded and we can see, he knows that these weapons that he uses, they can't prosper. That's the reason why he tries so hard each and every time that we're, you know, that we're vulnerable to something, or that, you know, or when he sees us and he thinks, and when he sees that we're in a loop and we're struggling, that's why he always hits hard, because he knows, bro. He already knows his future, and he knows, bro. Like now that we have come to God, that we are His. We're not on His side, but that we're God's children. You feel me? So just something that I just wanted to just come on here and just say and just drop. Like, just don't throw in the towel. No weapon formed against you shall be able to prosper. You know. So yeah, yo, man, I just had to drop that. Anyways, I gotta get back in here. This is weird. It's crazy. Like it's always something. Like it's like I always tend to drop or something, like when I'm at work. It's crazy. I don't know. But anyways, I'll catch you on my next video, man. Simply that, man. I'm signing out.